Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Eric, the Modern Atheist, and thanks for watching my channel. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about the coronavirus and the possibility it was manufactured as a conspiracy. So, is the coronavirus a conspiracy? I've been seeing a lot of videos circulating the internet about the coronavirus being a form of population control and possibly a new way to instill the New World Order. So I thought I'd make a quick video about it. I'm not going to take a position on whether or not it is a conspiracy. I just want to lay out some fallacious arguments for it being a conspiracy and reasons we should consider that it's not a conspiracy. So here's 5 fallacies that people are making when they're talking about this. So the first one is an appeal to authority. There's been a video coming out with someone claiming to be a writer of a Biological Warfare Act. Whether or not he is the writer of the Biological Warfare Act is completely relevant. He may be. But this, using him as the authority is an appeal to authority because he's just one person when the entire science consensus goes against what he's saying. So there's no reason to think that his one opinion should trump the opinions of, everybody. So the second fallacy that I've been hearing is a false equivalence fallacy. And I've been seeing a post that's circulating the internet about a lot of CEOs stepping down from their positions. And just before this virus broke out, all these companies are making big changes, and it's kind of irrelevant, really, because I don't understand how CEOs dropping down from positions can equal a virus being manufactured to try to, take on this big grand scheme of anything. But it fails to mention how often CEOs step down from their position in general. I mean, it's very possible that CEOs are stepping down from their position all the time. We live in a very large global society where things are constantly changing, constantly evolving. And if the coronavirus had started 6 months ago, we could pick up, 15 or 20 random things that seemed like big events that happened just before this. Things are always changing. We have 7 billion people in the world, and there's not much to say about that. It's a very common thing that we do to try to pick out all these little things or big things that happened before an event and say, because that happened, that means this is happening now because of that. So also, this next one kind of follows on that. It's called retrospective determinism. The argument that because the virus is killing people, it was some way designed to be killing people. This is just a fallacious reasoning. Viruses happen all the time. They've been going on for millions of years, and more so in recent agricultural times. So also, there's ad hoc rationalizations, which is making the claim that because this could be made in a lab, it is made in a lab. You're looking at something that happened, you're looking back at it and saying, well, it could be this, so therefore it is this. It's just kind of irrational, and I wouldn't try to make that mistake. So there's also the correlation causation fallacy, which in this example, I've been seeing a post stating that because the elections are coming up, they must be doing this to try to stop the elections or change democracy or something along that. Correlation does not equal causation. There's all these things that you could correlate with it, but that doesn't mean that it's the cause of it. So when you're trying to reason something and come to the answer of something that you're trying to understand, you have to find good evidence and then build your argument from the good evidence. This is a lot of random things that are completely irrelevant to this typically, and I wouldn't use them to build your argument. So let's look at a few arguments as to why the virus might be something that's natural. But first, I want to talk about what a virus is. So a virus is an infectious agent that can only replicate within a host organism. Viruses can infect a variety of living organisms, including bacteria, plants, and animals. Viruses are so small that a microscope is necessary to visualize them. They have a very simple structure. When a virus particle is independent from its host, it consists of a viral genome, or genetic material contained within a protein shell called a capsid. In some viruses, the protein shell enclosed in a membrane is called an envelope. Viral genomes are very diverse since they can be DNA or RNA, single or double-stranded, linear or circular, and in a variety of lengths and a number of DNA or RNA molecules. The viral replication process begins when the virus infects the host by attaching to the host cells and penetrating the cell wall or membrane. So just to step away from this a little bit, what it does is it goes inside of your body, and then it, like, think of it being like a little needle, and it connects to your cell and it sticks its DNA inside your cell, and then your cell replicating the virus inside of your body. It's actually really interesting and kind of cool if it wasn't the thing that could kill all of humanity. So before the virus is in your body, it's pretty much useless. I mean, they literally for thousands of years will just sit in like crystalline form and just kind of wait until the opportunity occurs where they can infect a host. And then once they infect the host, their main goal is to try to spread it to as many people as they can, because that is how a virus replicates copies of its genes. Just like our goal is to replicate our genes and to procreate and things like that. That's what a virus's goal is. Same with bacteria and everything else that lives on the planet. So this is a really interesting, awesome part of humanity, and it's unfortunate because it can create disease. But viruses are a very big population of the planet. They take up a huge number of the planet. So what is coronavirus? Coronavirus is a large family of viruses which may cause illness in animals or humans, which I would argue a human is an animal. Several coronaviruses are known to cause respiratory infections ranging from a common cold to more serious diseases such as Middle East Respiratory Syndrome, MERS, and Severe Acute Respiratory Syndrome, SARS. The most recently discovered coronavirus causes coronavirus disease COVID-19, which is what we're seeing right now. And why do viruses mutate? And they mutate to survive. Unlike plants and animals, I kind of talked about this briefly before, but the only way that a virus can reproduce is through a host cell. So their whole goal, once again, is to try to get inside of your body or a bat's body or a cow's body and inject that DNA in there so that your cells can reproduce their DNA. So, what we're seeing right now with the coronavirus is, honestly, it's the result of bad farming and agricultural practices. And this will continue to happen for as long as we have bad farming and agricultural practices. But this has happened a lot in the past. This is exactly what happened with the flu, the avian flu and all these different flus, the plague. This is just a normal thing about being a biological system. Our bodies are weak to predators. We have, viruses, bacterial infections. We can get, different parasites and things. And we're all trying to, basically, all things in the universe, or the planet at least, are trying to pass on copies of their genes and live and be the dominant species. So a virus is a very effective thing to do that. I wouldn't worry so much that this is a government conspiracy to do population control. Something I would consider is that Russia, China, the United States, all these countries have much worse viruses on ice, just in case we ever need to make like an emergency vaccine or something like that. So we literally have things like smallpox, or we have polio just sitting around. Those are much more effective and way worse than the coronavirus. Like polio, that'll make you have paralysis, and it kills not only old people, but young people, old people, children, babies, whatever. And it's so much worse than coronavirus. So these are just some things that I would consider when trying to think about whether or not this virus could be a government psyop or something to take out people. It's not very likely. It's very unlikely that the government is going to use a relative... I mean, it is bad. I'm not trying to downplay it, but it's a relatively ineffectual virus compared to things like polio or smallpox or things that we've seen in the past. So think rationally, maybe do some research on fallacies. The Great Courses Plus has an awesome docuseries on infectious diseases and how they work and how they came about. And I highly recommend just trying to take a real educational approach. Right now, when people are suffering from illness and when you're seeing your loved ones go through all of these, being sick and possibly dying and all these things, we're always trying to look at agency and try to, ascribe agency to why bad things happen. It's been, this is why religion has been such a dominant thing in the history of man. We're always trying to find agency in everything. And so you can either look at it as, God created this virus to try to kill humans, or you can look at it as the government created the virus to try to kill humans, or the Chinese tried to do it to get rid of America, or whatever. Or you can say, look, viruses are a normal thing. We're going to see a lot of them in the future. Viruses have been around for millennia, and we need to act as a cohesive society and try to help our neighbors defeat something that's trying to wage a war against us, which is the virus. We're trying to wash our hands, get our neighbors the things that they need. If they need toilet paper, give them a roll of toilet paper. Don't hoard it all to yourself. Let's try to help other people in these times of need. So, hey, I really appreciate you guys checking out this video. This is my first video I ever made. Hopefully you thought it was okay. Please subscribe. This is going to be something I do at least once a week. Try to make a video just informing you on atheism, but not really talk about religion. This is for the atheists that just want information on how to live a good life for atheism, how to think of things rationally and critically. We're not here to dog on religion or anything like that. It's just a positive YouTube channel. So please subscribe, comment, like this video, share it with your friends, and remember to think rationally and don't let fear run your brain. Okay, it takes over the prefrontal cortex. We don't start thinking rationally and bad things happen. Let's spread truth. Let's try to get rid of as many false things as we can in our understanding and spread knowledge. All right, guys, thanks so much. Bye.